So I think what makes you continue to want to be a Thrive mentor is the fact that the first time you do it, inevitably things don't always go exactly as to plan when you're first a Thrive mentor. So coming back for a second year means that you have time to sort of readjust and approach the whole scheme in a new way. And I think what I've learned is that you really need to go in with one tangible expectation from students. My best experience with Thrive has been basically managing to find internships for my mentees and actually sort of approach my contacts that I've made over the past few years and actually just managed to cut through the noise and offer my mentees internships and placements in publishing houses and in magazines. And we've met them quite a few times. We've met after internships and they've told me how great it's been, what a good experience it's been, and we've had sort of a catch up and a celebration to sort of celebrate how they've got on, and also catching up after internship allows us to really sort of find out what they've learned and whether that internship helped them get an extra step closer to where they want to be. Working out the best way for you to sort of really help people is a challenge, a real challenge, because it isn't always in the most obvious way. So it's about looking for new and different directions to sort of guide your knowledge into somebody else's life, but if it might not be the most obvious way. The conversations we talk about are really work-driven, driven by what their goals are, what their targets are, what they want to achieve. But it's really important to have a good relationship with them on a wider scale as well. So, it's always nice to find out how university's going, how sort of home life is going, and how often they leave Reading, how often they have weekends away, and just sort of what they do on their evenings. So it's always nice to sort of find out what our common grounds are away from work as well, whether we like playing tennis or whatever it is. So that always helps to sort of make the conversations feel more natural. I think my top tip to mentor starting out in this scheme would basically be to really nail down one tangible goal within the first few months. Is it perhaps that by Christmas, if the meeting is in November, we're going to have secured a work experience placement, or we're going to have pitched some articles to a magazine? And if that is the case, let's make the first goal receiving the CVs from the mentees, receiving a cover letter, and then I always think it's quite a nice sort of soft activity to do to start off with, just to sort of go through that CV and cover letter and edit it and say what I would do to change it. I think one thing that's really important is just really making sure that you have a rhythm with your students, really making sure that you see them and speak to them regularly. It's difficult enough in everyday life for your jobs to keep up with everything. So when you've got a separate project like this scheme, like the Thrive scheme, it's very important that you give it your all. And it's not that difficult once you just kind of start off on a good footing.